What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we got to talk about an incredibly interesting rumor. I don't know if you want to call it a rumor. We'll obviously walk through the entire thing, but it would be alarming if this is true. And what it is this comes from Jeff Grubb, who I do feel like we kind of have to give some to, right? Because this guy does know his stuff. He has gotten stuff wrong, and I would like this to kind of be like the grand, failure of his. I really don't want this to be true. And he says that he believes Mass Effect 5 isn't coming out till 2029 or around there. Now, there's a difference between, and he always is very specific about this, there's a difference between speculation and rumors, okay? But to be fair, and I guess to be more critical of him, because he might say, like, well, that was more speculation on my part. He says he was told about the timeline of Dragon Age, or told that Mass Effect would have a similar timeline to Dragon Age. But here's the thing. None of it actually makes sense to me. The math is actually wrong unless you read it or listen to it, I guess, a specific way. So this comes from a clip from his podcast. And what he basically says is Dragon Age Dreadwolf, right, announced in 2018, and that game's coming out next year, maybe, early 2025. And because of that, he has heard about the timeline of Mass Effect, and so he doesn't believe Mass Effect is coming out till 2029 or so. But the only way that actually makes sense, and there's people throwing around like 10 years, like it's a 10-year thing, Dragon Age 2018, but that doesn't make sense. Dragon Age is not coming out 10 years after it was announced. The only way for it to work, for what he said to be true, is if you take it as, okay, well, what we have just seen of Mass Effect, this is the start. This is the bare minimum that they have, and the game is coming out 6 years from now, just like Dragon Age announced in 2018 and coming out, next year, which is also 6 years. But to me, that doesn't make any sense. Now, again, like, depending on who you look at on Twitter, they'll say, well, he was speculating versus like it's a rumor. Well, he does say in the clip that he was told. I don't think you can hide behind that this is just his opinion. But I'll tell you, like, opinion side of me, that would be abysmal if Mass Effect 5 comes out in 2029. I firmly do not believe that's happening. In fact, when N7 Day happened and we did the recap video, I talked about, I think this thing is only a year or so behind Dragon Age. And that could be wrong. I tend to think games may come out a little bit sooner than they actually are. But, you look at Dragon Age and you say, okay, late next year is probably best case scenario. Although, the game seemingly internally has been delayed multiple times, Dragon Age Dreadwolf. So if it comes out next fall, comes out even early 2025, I really wouldn't be shocked if Mass Effect came out 1 year after. So if it's say early 2025 for Dragon Age, let's say the latest, I think Mass Effect also at the latest, fall of 2026. I think fall of 2020, which is 3 years from right now. They went the show on the podcast that Jeff Grubb was on. They talked about how it's nowhere near close to being done. And, again, they think 6 years from now would be, to me, it's like you would just be starting. And I mean, yeah, they haven't shown us a lot, but I have to imagine they've done some things. You look behind me, this image from this teaser trailer, several years old. Now, I understand that, they were just putting the team together, building stuff. I don't think this game is 6 years into development or anything, but for the game to say, in order for it to work, in order for this game to come out 6 years from now, you'd have to tell me that it just started yesterday, that they just started making this game yesterday. Otherwise, what in God's name are you doing there that you need 8, 9+ years to make a Mass Effect game? That would be ridiculous. So, part anger at this, I guess, in this video, part just confusion. I do not believe it. And also, then you got to think, you're not even talking about the same console generation. You're talking about the next, because PS6 and the next Xbox, that would come out in 2028. This game's coming out before then. It's coming out before 2028. I don't think it's close. It's coming out next year or anything. But I really feel like my prediction a few days ago, I want to stick with it. I think I'm going to be right, or at least I'm going to be somewhat close, in that I think next N7 Day is going to be a big step up from this one, and this one was already a big step up from last one. So That's just what I think. I really don't think we're too far. I know, like 3 years, like you could debate amongst yourself, right? If that's a long time, it is. But at the same time, 3 years, trust me, it's gonna fly by pretty fast. And maybe 6 years will also fly by fast. But I just cannot imagine, because that's like, that would be, I think, what, 9 years since when they showed the teaser trailer. There's just absolutely no way, unless there is one way, unless there's like a catastrophic failure. You look at the BioShock game, one of my all-time faves or all-time favorite franchises, and then sarcastically all-time favorite stories of these games that just can't release. That game, it'll probably be 10 plus years from when they first announced it to when it comes out. But we know, like, from behind the scenes, there are just some serious things that went, wrong with it. And BioShock as a franchise has always kind of been cursed, where they just can't make games in the first place. So, yeah, if that happens, then yeah, I could see Mass Effect being delayed. But upon them having to restart or catastrophically change something, in development, I cannot imagine that we're sitting here in the fall of 2029, 6 years from now, and saying, now's our time. The Mass Effect fans got it. We got the game. I just would not believe that. And again, I want to say, like, I pray he's wrong. And he has been wrong before. This would be a really big thing to be wrong. And again, I don't take the excuse of, like, that's just his thoughts. He literally says in there about being told something. So it's no longer your own, like, opinion on when the game could come out. Now it's like, well, you're comparing it to something else because you have the timelines and you were told about the timelines. So now it's a rumor, and now you can either be right or wrong about it. And I really hope he's wrong. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel. Bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.